Imagine a world where food disappears, not because of war, not because of famine, but because humanity forgot it existed. Thousands of fruits and crops once fed civilizations. Today, many of them are extinct. No seeds, no taste, no second chance. This is the story of foods humanity lost forever. Ancient civilizations cultivated wild grape varieties that no longer exist today. These grapes were resistant to drought and disease. They survived harsh climates naturally. Modern farming replaced them with a small number of commercial grape types. As vineyards expanded, wild grapes were cleared, ignored, and forgotten. Today, those ancient grape varieties are extinct. Along with them, we lost genetic traits that could protect future crops. For centuries, European chestnuts were a cornerstone of rural life, a staple food that sustained generations. Entire villages depended on them, their economies and traditions woven into the seasonal harvest. Versatile and nutritious, they were called the bread of the forest. Then, in the early 20th century, disease struck. An invasive blight, accidentally introduced from Asia, swept across the continent, and countless unique varieties were wiped out. Only a few resistant types survived the devastation. Most traditional chestnut strains, each adapted to its specific microclimate, disappeared forever. With them went a rich diversity of flavors, nutrition, and a vital source of food security for countless rural communities. Stretching across the Middle East, the Fertile Crescent was the cradle of civilization, the very birthplace of agriculture. For millennia, early humans cultivated a rich tapestry of wheat varieties, each with its own unique genetic code, an incredible biodiversity that modern science no longer has access to. These ancient crops were resilient, adapting naturally to floods, droughts, and pests without human intervention. But the rise of industrial agriculture replaced this hard-won diversity with fragile, high-yield uniformity. Today, only a tiny fraction of that ancient wheat genetic library still exists. The rest, lost to time and neglect. Yet in quiet vaults and scattered fields, a few ancient seeds still breathe. If we listen and plant, we may remember what we have forgotten. Central Asia is the birthplace of apples. Thousands of apple varieties once grew there, each with unique taste, size, and resistance. Urban expansion and monoculture farming destroyed wild apple forests. Many varieties vanished without ever being recorded. Modern apples are sweeter but far weaker. We traded resilience for appearance. But the story isn't over. Today, scientists safeguard wild genes in seed banks. Orchardists graft heirloom varieties to keep their unique flavors alive. In Kazakhstan, special reserves still shelter ancient apple forests. Taste returns, tart, perfumed, and astonishingly diverse. We can all help. Plant diverse trees and ask for heirlooms at local markets. Resilience begins again, right in our own backyards. For thousands of years, from arid deserts to high mountain terraces and lush wetlands, indigenous communities cultivated maize. Each unique variety was carefully bred, serving a specific purpose in their diet and ceremony. Each cob told a story of place and people. But colonial farming practices disrupted this ancient system, replacing the rich tapestry of local crops with standardized corn. As a result, many ancient maize strains vanished, and with them, generations of irreplaceable cultural knowledge. Yet today, a quiet revival is underway. Dedicated seed keepers and modern seed banks are working to preserve these heirloom varieties. They are not just saving seeds, they are reviving a culture and restoring a vital connection to the land. For millennia, rice adapted to its environment. Some varieties thrived underwater for weeks. Others survived in salty coastal soil. But modern farming focused on yield, not survival, and these incredible traits began to vanish. As climate instability increases, scientists search for traits that no longer exist. Extinction doesn't just erase food, it erases solutions. Yet deep within fortified vaults, a genetic ark awaits. Global seed banks safeguard thousands of heritage varieties, each a time capsule of resilience. On the front lines, farmers revive ancestral knowledge, creating floating fields that rise with the floods. Inspired by this living history, breeders are looking backward to move forward, unlocking the blueprints for a more durable future. We must protect these answers before the questions become impossible to solve. The lost legumes of ancient civilizations. For millennia, ancient lentils and beans were a cornerstone of human survival, providing essential protein without the need for meat. Their incredible resilience was their strength. Many were uniquely adapted to thrive in poor soil and with little water. But modern agriculture, in its pursuit of uniformity, abandoned them for faster-growing, more profitable crops. Those specific legumes are now extinct. As food prices rise, we rediscover their value. Archaeobotanists piece together their story from charred seeds and ancient texts, a lesson written in dust. Today, researchers race to preserve the remaining land races, but for so many we are simply too late. We are left to wonder what other treasures we will lose before we learn to value them.
Food diversity is survival insurance. When we rely on too few crops, one disease can collapse everything. Extinct foods don't just affect the past, they threaten the future. Every lost seed narrows humanity's options.
These fruits and crops didn't disappear overnight, they faded quietly as we chose convenience over diversity. Remembering them isn't nostalgia, it's a warning. Subscribe to Lost Life on Earth to remember what humanity lost and what we're still losing. Because extinction doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it tastes like something we'll never know again.